question, does anyone here have a big dick? Takes people by surprise. There we got some. See, it must be nice to have a large penis, but it has to have some drawbacks, right? My biggest big dick fear would have to be walking into a public washroom, or any washroom for that matter, and you go to sit down and it falls in. It has to be an epidemic affecting stallions every day. They don't really teach you whether size matters in sex education. I think I can remember back to when they first started teaching sex ed, maybe in like grade 1. They're pretty vague back then though, because I spent a year in between grade 1 and grade 2 thinking I wasn't a virgin because I had been naked with a girl at some point in my life. There was a girl down the road from me, and we would go into a closet and get naked for some reason. I was probably 4 and she was 5, but I guess kids do that sometimes, so forgive them. Sex ed doesn't actually get too juicy to like grade 7 or 8 when all the hormones are raging and people ask really personal questions and they play it off like it's for somebody else about their friend masturbating or their friend using a tampon for the first time. We all know it's you. I never got the courage to work up to ask the question that I was always wondering about NRBs, which some of you in here might know as no reason boners. You get those a lot when your hormones are going, and I would just be sitting at my desk and you have to do a presentation or you have to walk across the classroom to hand something in, and you get one of those inconvenient little bastards. And I actually remember the chairs. If you put your leg up one way, it would happen, and if you put your leg up where there was no bar, it wouldn't happen. So if you were lazy and you wanted to rest your leg on the bar, you were getting a boner. I'm going to try and remember this when I turn 60 or 50 or so when ED sets in, and I'll try and find one of those high school desks and bring it home. Whenever the wife's good to go, I will be too. Another thing they don't really talk about in sex ed is how bad it's going to be the first time. Actually, I had a couple .5s before I had the first time. My girlfriend and I, we thought years of horseback riding would make up for never having used a tampon, and we were wrong. And I'm not tooting my own horn here or anything, it was just a small space to fit something into. So that didn't work out too well, but through perseverance and determination, you know, it all works out in the end. Some stretching and internet research. I have my stuff written on a bottle, so if you see me drinking, I'm cheating. Some people are trying to teach that sex should only be for kids to procreate, which they mentioned earlier. Obviously, none of us really agree with that. I do want to have kids procreate someday. It'd be nice. Kids are like little blank slates. You can lie to them, they'll have no idea. You're going to tell them, yeah, it's nice. Lying is fun sometimes. It makes you feel powerful. I'm going to tell them things like they're adopted or their mom's boobs are fake, so I breastfed them. Like, they have no idea. When they ask me questions, Dad, where does rain come from? Well, son, rain comes from when God takes a shower. Or where does thunder come from? Well, that's when God stubs his toe and gets angry. Dad, where does snow come from? Well, that's when God decides to come everywhere and freeze it. Kids really, really will believe anything you tell them, especially about sex. For example, if you look at Disney movies, the prince and the princess run off and live happily ever after. When we all know if those movies ran an extra 10 minutes, they'd have nothing to do but seal the deal and bone. So you got to picture Snow White going crazy in reverse cowgirl. You got Aladdin and Jasmine 69ing on the magic carpet. Beauty sucking on what's left of the beast. You know? It's gotta happen. Sorry. I got the go-ahead to say all these dirty jokes, I swear. Yeah, thank you. You guys been to the movies lately at all? Everything seems to be coming out in 3D, which is pretty cool. But it means that next, everything's going to be in 3D. TV, commercials, news, music videos, all that sort of stuff. And the scariest of all is 3D pornography. Now, that sounds cool at first, but you have to think about Peter North firing 3-foot cum shots by your head while you're trying to masturbate. It's very scary. The worst part is everything's bigger in the porn industry. Longer penises, juicier asses, bigger boobs. So you have these abnormally large body parts coming at you in IMAX 3D and hitting you in the... And, you know, it's kind of scary. Another thing they don't teach you about in sex ed is that you can use sex for favors, stuff like that. I've been smoking a lot of weed recently. That's probably why I think of all this stupid shit. But I've been smoking a lot of weed recently, and the price racks up. So I resorted to performing sexual favors. Now, I really wish there were a lot more female drug dealers in Ottawa, because I'm tired of sucking dick for weed. And I think I'm just going to leave it right there. So, thanks for having me.